Hey, everybody, and welcome to Tea Talk Thursday. So, if you saw the little image that I had posted kind of preceding the start of the show, it was of a wine glass, really just talking about July being what a month. I mean, what a month, guys. What a month. It's the last Thursday in July, and I figured we should probably do a recap of what happened this month, how we handled it, what we're looking forward to in July, some things that we should do in July, whether we want to do them. I mean, in August. See, I'm already losing train of thought, whether we want to do it or not. But sit back, relax, grab your drink if you have not already grabbed it. Come on in and let's get started. So, for those of you who do not know, and I hope by now you do know, I am Tamika Talks, the mouth of IG, and I'm the thought leader at Life and Pumps. And I created this Tea Talk Thursday to be an organic conversation. So, here you'll find where we're talking about current events, things that are coming up. Oftentimes, I will bring on guests to help me break down some of these things that are going on. And as I'm looking at what the trending events are today, I'm kind of wishing that I would have brought someone else on because it's a lot. I don't know if you guys are in a place right now where you're feeling a mental overload. Social media has become a lot. Some of your friends have probably become a lot. Your family has probably become a lot. You're dealing with the effects of this pandemic and you're not really sure what to do. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but let me know. But I felt like with it being the last Thursday of the month, that we should really break down what happened so that we don't repeat some of this in August. Does that make sense? The first thing we gotta address, and I would be remiss if I did not even totally bring this up. I just saw where your president is trying to delay the election. Guys, once again, I feel like the government is just trying to control our train of thought. Like they don't want us to have minds of our own. They want to control what we say, what we do, and how we move. It's a lot. I'm tired. Guys, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of every time I turn on the TV, if it's not something about the protest, something negative about the protest, let me say that, then it's something that's coming out of the White House or DC and that's so negative. This is why we can't move and so many people are in ruts and there's so many people who are depressed. I was reading yesterday about a gentleman who basically had put out a call for help. And, he had been posting these things in the social media and people weren't paying attention. Like they were commenting on it and saying things to him, but no one kind of took it serious. And apparently he ended up committing suicide. So I want to remind you that whether it's your strong friend, your weak friend, your average friend, your middle friend, whoever it is, check in with them because people are processing a lot, some of which they're not saying, they may not be sharing on social media, but people are dealing with a lot. Yes, coronavirus probably started it, with the pandemic and everybody being at home. But some of these were feelings that people already had inside. They just hadn't come out. And now just kind of, we have so much more time to think and ponder things that it is affecting people in ways that I don't even think I realized would have happened. If you are feeling that way, reach out to a friend, send me an inbox. I'll chat with you. We don't even have to know each other. But I just don't like seeing and hearing just the senseless deaths that have been occurring. And you guys know I am a huge advocate in the whole Black Lives Matter arena. And you probably have not seen me doing any posting about protests that I've been attending, but I have been sharing information that I've been finding. And mainly it's because my kids are kind of back to lacrosse. So I'm in mom duty mood, like on overload. But it is what it is. It's what we signed up for. What can I do? But that does not stop me from wanting to make sure that we're amplifying Black voices, that we're listening, that we're being heard, we're being mindful of what's needed. We're encouraging our kids because I've said before that our children are going to be the ones who are going to lead this generation. It's not going to be us. We're going to be the ones to hopefully help them, but they are going to be the ones that's going to make an impact. And I love seeing it because it's not just about a Black child. It's a white kid. It's an Asian child. It's everybody. These kids are, they're coming into their own. And even though some of them were raised in households that, are conservative is what I've been told is a proper word. Conservative, where they haven't taught them about being an anti-racist and things of that nature. These teenagers have made friends with people and they are talking, they are doing research. When I tell you, it is an amazing, beautiful thing to see. I love it. I love the young people. I love what they're doing. If you are in the Montgomery County area, there is a group called the Monco Moms for Black Lives Matter. And they're going to be protests, peaceful protests happening throughout Montgomery County. There's actually one on Saturday right outside King of Prussia Mall. So if you were thinking of shopping, stop by the protest first. I believe it's from 2 to 5, and it's right off 202. Go give them a cheer, a nod, a beat, or something. Show some support for them because they're going to need it. They haven't really been out protesting the way we had been previously. Everything kind of been taking a back seat to once things started opening up, it was really hard to get a lot of stuff done. But I want to talk about, like I said, July, kind of what happened. So if we look at, let me get my drink here before it falls. So if we look at what was occurring in the beginning of the month, so many people initially were excited for 4th of July, but 4th of July hit so many people differently. So in the African-American community, we kind of said, we're not celebrating 4th of July anymore. It's all about Juneteenth. We want to make sure that people know what Juneteenth is and why we should celebrate it and all of that. And I feel like the message got out. The message has now been muted and we need to bring it back. Yes, Juneteenth does happen on a day in June, of course, but it is about the freedom and symbolizing when slavery actually ended. And part of the reason why we need to keep that message going, 1865, Juneteenth, is because we need to make sure that that message translates into the schools. So what's happening is in a lot of districts, I don't know about your district, my district, this is happening in, as well as in the private schools, is that parents of color are demanding better. It's amazing to see, guys. It is amazing. And some of it is happening behind closed doors, so you may not really know what's happening, but I encourage you to get involved in what's happening at your school so that you can be a part of the change. But people are looking for the curriculums to be overchanged. Like they have to be changed. Like we all know that the cookie cutter bit of Black history that they want to share is not enough. And it's part of the reason why at home, we have been homeschool parents. If you are a Black parent, you've been a homeschool parent forever because you know that the only way that your children are really going to learn about your heritage is if you teach them. And that's not always a bad thing, but it would be great if that same information was happening in the school to kind of back it up. And then when they're having conversations with their friends, it all blends in together. So behind the scenes and some in front of the scenes, it is happening in districts. Districts are looking for diversity and inclusion people. So if you are one, reach out to me. I know a few districts who are looking for some consultants, even some people to bring in full-time or part-time to kind of help them with this work because we're demanding it. And in some cases, people are like, it needs to happen before school starts, which for most cases is in a few weeks. So that is all happening. So, that's a great thing that's been happening in July. And really, it kicked off with George Floyd. And then, we came into the beginning of July and people were like, yeah, enough is enough. So now we're kind of transitioning into the school talk where people are like, is school going to open? So that's a new added thing that has to happen. So these districts are faced with so many things that are coming and going to change. They have to look at the curriculum and make sure that there's some equity in it. And I'm not talking about equality. And I need to be clear on that. When I say equity, that means that you and I get the same thing regardless of how much money I make. It's not about, it's not about my income. It's not about where I live. It's not about being a 2-parent household. It is about the fact that I deserve the exact same thing that you have education-wise. And we want to make sure that not only that it's fair, that it's a good education because I told you guys a few weeks ago, I had ran for a position with the school board, didn't get the position, but they have asked me to kind of help and do some other things based on kind of the conversations that we've had. But in my deciding to run, because I told you guys, I am not a political chick. Like, I didn't know who I was when I was filling out that application, but I felt like it was what I had to do. And I don't regret doing it at all because it really, really opened my eyes to what's happening in these schools. And not just in my community, in other communities, especially throughout Pennsylvania. I was surprised to see the low number of minority educators. I feel like Philadelphia probably has a lot, because it's the city, but overall, in terms of the state, those numbers are statistically low. I mean, like it's really sad. And we all know the importance of having somebody that looks like you. Representation matters. So you have to think back to, all those kids who in elementary school didn't have somebody that looked like them that they felt maybe they could go and talk to, that they could relate to. So then you think back to like, okay, well, they didn't have anybody in elementary school. They didn't have anybody in middle school. And then let's just throw forsake in there that maybe they dropped out of high school. So now, they're criminals or whatever's going on. And, life is not how they would have wanted it to be, or even how, anybody would have wanted it to be. So you have to think back to the chain of events that occurred that we could have made an impact on. It's really, when I tell you guys, it's really sad. Like, I encourage you to go to your state's page and read their education plan. It's crazy how that education plan was clearly put together for a certain type of student. It is not for every student. It is not. And that is why our public school systems continue to fail our students. And if we don't get educators in there who care and are ready to go outside the box, we can't expect our children to compete like they're doing in other countries. I mean, we're not even going to talk about the lunch, but just the education itself is so lacking that sometimes it's really disheartening. It's really disheartening. And then you want your child to be a part of the public education system. I am a product of the public education system. I loved every minute of it. And looking back, I did have some Black teachers. And I don't know that as a child, I recognized the importance of it. I know I didn't. I didn't recognize the importance of it. I just knew that I went here. I felt like my parents were involved. I felt like the teachers cared. Whereas now I don't see that as often. And I don't know why that is. I don't know. I have no answers for that. But I do feel like when parents get involved, we can make a change. So that's why I want you to go to your state page, read the plan for education. And when you realize the parts in there that don't pertain to your child and are not to the benefit of your kid, I want you to reach out to your individual school district and ask them about those parts. What are you doing about this? What are you doing about that? And we've got to be more actively involved in what's happening. Because when we're not, that's when we're losing funding. That's when things are happening and we're finding out after the fact because we didn't go to the school board meeting or we missed it. Even if you don't go to the meeting, all the minutes are online. So much is public that and we're not just taking the steps that we need to take to figure it all out. Parents might be paying a little bit more attention now because everyone is trying to figure out what this whole back to school plan is going to look like for coming in September. But what I want to encourage you is while you're looking at that, look at everything, because we already know that for most school districts, this virtual education did not work. It did not work. I mean, so many students were struggling, basically just got passed over because it was happening, like it was all new to everybody. And so I feel like, we kind of had to give them a pass, kind of, because it was new, it was not expected. No one was prepared for being at home, being a teacher and figuring all that out. So now I feel like we've had about 3 months. We should know better. There are school districts who did it better. We should talk to one another. Hey, how did it work in your district? Oh, it worked great in my district. Well, this is what we did. This is what the parents responded to. Yes, there have been lots of surveys going out from the parents, and most parents don't want to be a teacher. Hence the reason that they didn't go to school to be an educator, or that they send their children to a school and then not homeschool. So most parents have no intentions on being an educator, and they need our districts to help them. But we got to get involved in the process. So that's all I'm asking. So let me see what else has been going on in July. We lost John Lewis, and it was a lot. I watched the funeral. I actually watched it while I was out at the lacrosse field, and I was watching it on my phone. And I was really, I was sad. I was not sad at his passing because that man had been doing a lot. I mean, like, he had to be tired. I don't know how he did it all, while dealing with cancer. I mean, he was doing a little bit of everything. I mean, when you look at it, he was doing a little bit of everything. And so I was like, he had to be tired. And, initially there was a tweet that went out from a staffer from the Congresswoman in North Carolina, in Greensboro. And they had to retract it because they had died and he hadn't even died yet. And so you had to wonder, like, well, what kind of inside information did she have? Because what was happening as he was coming out of surgery? Luckily, it was not the case. He was home resting. And then at some point, he did pass. But, good trouble is what we're all going around saying. And it's a reminder that, one, we've got to vote, guys. If you are not registered to vote, do it now. Like, I'm going to post a link when this is done. Please register to vote. I mean, like, you can't keep saying rest in peace to John Lewis, and you can't keep being mad about things that are happening, and you're mad that the pandemic was dealt this way. You're mad that your school district is handling things this way. You're just mad in general. You can't stay mad if you don't become part of the process. So the first step in affecting change is voting. Please, please, please register to vote. If you're not registered, so look at that. That was crazy, right? So, yes, I was frozen. The internet was doing something. I don't even know if you guys heard me singing. But I'm back. Crazy how it froze on me telling you to vote. The importance of voting. Crazy, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. But sometimes you got to think like, okay, what's happening here? But back to the message. I'm back. Let's do this. Hopefully you guys are still here because I know you guys are like, she was frozen. Oh my God, what happened? I'm back. So let's get back on track. Okay, we told you to vote. I told you I'm going to post the link below so that you will have whatever information you need. If you're more comfortable doing a mail-in ballot, by all means do that. For some states, the deadline has passed. If the deadline in your state has not passed, check it out and see. What I do encourage you to do is to track your ballot. There's been lots of information going on about how the Postmaster General slowed down the mail. There's a whole lot going on. So what I did with mine is I actually dropped it off at my place, put it in the designated area, and as soon as they pulled the ballots and scanned them, I received an email to let me know that my ballot had been received and counted. I don't know if they're doing it in other states. If they are, you want to make sure that you follow up with it. If you are uncomfortable by any means, go and vote in person. Quite frankly, that's what I'm planning to do for the presidential race. I don't need any hiccups to be happening, any of that. I am going to go to my polling place and I'm going to pull the lever. I've been doing lots and lots of things to keep my immune system booted, and it's been working. We have not had any hiccups. I've totally noticed the crazy amount of energy I have now. The kids have been doing well. I'm going to continue that because my goal is to vote in November. I do want to vote in person. But I want to continue to talk about the things that have been going on in July. I told you guys about John Lewis. Totally rest in peace to him. But the best way we can honor his life and his death is to become part of the process. Vote, 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 vote. Did I say vote? I did. I said vote. Okay. And so the other thing I want to make sure, look at that. Look at that. So she is saying how she's always taken her children to vote with us. Absolutely. So my children have voted since they've been here. I feel like there's one election that they did not get to vote with me at. And that was because I think they were at school, they had a game. And so I voted early just so I can make sure that I got to the polling place. But absolutely, you want to make sure that your children are a part of the process because they mirror what we do. I mean, so we can't expect them to later on vote if we're not making it a big deal to vote. So it is definitely a big deal. Please, please, please vote. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about some other things that were occurring in July. You guys saw that I did the Tea Talk on mental health. Goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. If you need help, please, there are resources for you. They've created some lines now, very similar to like 911, where you can text somebody or call and get somebody on the phone quickly and get the help you need. as I stated, if you are feeling any kind of way, because I said this pandemic has been bringing out a lot of different feelings from people. Reach out, phone a friend. Don't do this alone because you don't have to. The other thing I want to remind you of is check out the book Fatherless. So we've talked about Fatherless twice in the show, really just the effects of it, the emotional and mental that it was doing on people. And so it's a book written by Cy Bryant. It has been widely received. People are loving it, and it has started a wonderful conversation that we hope will continue, and people will get the help they need and kind of do what they need to do. And it's not just for a man to read; it's also for a mother to read. If you're raising a child, and you want to make sure that you are connecting and giving your children what they need, not just what they want, which is often what we do, what they need. So I feel like reading Fatherless will help you, especially if you are coming from a place where maybe you and the father don't have a great relationship. It could be a good way to help you kind of see things differently, to make sure that your child is processing this whole thing better. And also, if you notice that in your husband, because maybe he didn't have a good relationship with his father, that it has effects on your marriage, check out the book. You'd be surprised. So the other thing is, sorry guys. I've been talking to you guys about boosting your immune system, and I just wanted to remind you about sea moss. So one of the things, and I talked about this today on my Instagram story. So if you're not following me on Instagram, check it out. Tamika Talks, easy. But a lot of people have asked me about my smoothies. And they're like, how do you get your kids to drink them? My kids don't like the taste, just a whole lot of things. And I've been telling them, oftentimes what it is what you're adding. They don't like the taste because they can taste the vegetables. My children, especially my son, hates vegetables. Hates. It's insane how much he hates vegetables. So I have to hide them in the smoothies, and it's been working. And then I add the sea moss. So for me, if you go back and look at the Insta story, you'll see my smoothies generally consist of wheatgrass. There's been sea moss. I add fruits and vegetables. I like to get them flashed frozen if I can, just because it's easier to keep and they last longer. I always put a banana in it just because they're running and, cramping and all of that. I blended in my Vitamix and it works. Today I added beet juice. It was so delicious, guys. It was so delicious. I'll make sure that you guys get to see which beet juice I added. And as for the sea moss, you can either buy it already as in a gel or you can make it yourself. I've done both. Oftentimes I will buy the gel just because it's quicker. And if, it just makes sense, but you can make it your own way if you like. And some people I know who make it their own, they also make it flavored. So that way, they feel like they'll drink it more. The kids will eat it and all of that. But to me, it doesn't have a taste. So like I could put it in, like sometimes I'll take a spoonful of it and I'll drink it with my tea just to get it done and over with. The other thing we've been doing is silver. Silver is really great for boosting your immune system as well. I'll make certain that, there are links to all of that stuff below where you guys can check it out. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is just some products that I've been seeing. I feel like one of the things about staying home is I've definitely been boosting the economy and buying some things. So you guys have probably been seeing all these ads for Shape Mint, right? What is it called? Shaper Mint, right? What is it called here? Shaper Mint? That sounds right. Yes, it's called a Shaper Mint. Who knew, right? So I've been seeing all these ads for it, and I'm so leery about buying these things online because I've gotten some things that supposed to be one thing and it's another. More recently, I should have bought the shoes up here. I should have showed you. I got these shoes that were supposed to be Birkenstocks, right? I love Birkenstocks. I generally buy them in other colors. So this year I'm online, and normally I'm online late at night, and that's how they get me. So I'm like, oh, look, they got Birkenstocks on sale. So I go to the site. I'm like, oh, okay. They had all these different colors and sizes. I ordered them. And instantly after I hit send, I said, they're not real. These are fake. What am I doing? I tried to cancel the sale. It was not working. They were like ghosting me. I emailed the person. They're like, well, what is it that you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to cancel the order. And they're like, well, we can't cancel the order because it's about to ship. Well, how's it about to ship? I just ordered it like 10 minutes ago. Like, stop. So it was a whole big process. It was crazy. The back and forth with them. I actually had to report it to my bank because it shipped. And when they arrived, you guys, I totally wish I would have had those shoes up here with me right now so I could have shown you those shoes. Not only were they fake, which I knew as soon as after reality set in, I was like, what am I doing? they smelled like I couldn't even take them out the bag. I opened the bag and was like, oh my God. And I closed the bag back. So I let it air out a little bit. And then I looked at them and they're plastic. They're not even leather. It is the worst replica I've ever seen. And I tell people all the time, like, you can go to Amazon and buy some really good dupes because I feel like, you can like the look of a designer item, but maybe you don't want to spend those high prices. And if you like me, I am a budget girl, but there's certain things that I like. So generally, I won't buy anything that's a fake. I don't want to buy a fake Louis Vuitton bag, just because it says Louis Vuitton. Like, I want to like the bag. And so I think that's kind of the difference. But if you go on Amazon, and there are a few other sites, you can find some dupes that look really good. So for me, I am in love with Louis Vuitton's totes, the Neverfulls. I have them in two patterns. Really love them. I'm a tote girl bag. I'm a tote bag girl. I realize that. Rarely will you see me with like a purse, a handbag. Oftentimes I'll carry a clutch, but I just, that's just what I like. So those are the only 2 or 3 or however many, we won't say here how many I have, but I've noticed that a lot of people have been looking for these bags. So whenever I'm scrolling through Amazon late at night, which is what I do when I probably should be asleep, all these like dupes are coming up and I'm like, do y'all know these aren't real? But then some come up that while they don't have the pattern on it, they're the same shape. They do the same thing with the closures in the middle. And they look like really good bags. And it'll say it's a leather bag. It'll give you some details. And I'm always saying to people, don't buy the Louis Vuitton bag if that's not in your budget. Like, it's okay because those bags are not cheap. Buy a dupe. Buy a dupe that is not intended to be Louis Vuitton, but it's the same shape, style, that type of thing. Amazon has lots of them. Oh, she's saying she likes the knapsack bag. Which bag is that? What's the knapsack bag? I don't even know if I know what that looks like. So, anywho, Shaper Mint was having a sale. And I keep seeing these commercials with these girls with their stomachs all bloated out. And then they put the Shaper Mint on. And then you see how it smooths them out. So I bought one. I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to take some pictures and I'll let you guys see what it really looks like. But this is how it looks. I like that it's stretchy. It looks really small. Look at that. That does not look like my size, but apparently it is. The fabric of it is actually pretty good. What I also like, I don't know if you guys can really see this here, is, let me turn it this way, this. So I think that this is going to be a game changer for me because I wear Spanx a lot. And what I like about a Spanx is, of course, it holds you in and it smooths you out. So for me, it does not necessarily make me look skinny because I don't think anything can do that other than a diet, but it smooths me out. So then when I have on my clothes, it's not all like crazy looking and I don't look disheveled. But oftentimes they roll down. And some people have said that they roll down because they're too small, but I've gone up sizes and I just think maybe it's dependent on which one you get. I don't really know. But these ridges should help it stay up. So I have some dresses that I had tried on, and while it's my size, I'm like, yeah, I don't like the look of that. All those rolls and a little bit of too much of the curves is showing. Too much of what my mama gave me is showing. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try it on I'm going to try the dress on first. I'll take a picture. And then I'll try it again with the Shaper Mint, and I'll let you guys see. And you can let me know what you think. I've been reading the reviews. They've been really great. Who knows? Oh, so she's saying that she likes any type of knapsack bag. Got it. You know what's interesting? At one point, I used to be a backpack girl. And I would use them for traveling because I feel like it's easy. I can put it onto the back of my suitcase. And oftentimes what happened with the tote bag is, and part of the reason how I fell in love with the Neverfull is, my original one, is probably at this point, it's probably at least 5 years old, if not older. And what happened is I was in the mall and I'd been looking at them. And so I went in the store and I held it, I played with it. And I was like, I'm not buying this bag. I was like, I'm leaving. And my experience in the store was really bad. They were like not friendly and I wasn't dressed, which should not be the reason why they weren't friendly to me. It was just not a really good experience. And I ended up writing a letter. And, long story short, we had a conversation. The person invited me to come back in. I went back into the store. I had a wonderful experience. And of course, look what happened. I left out with $1,000 bag. But since then, I've gone in several times and it has not been any issues or whatever. So that's how I ended up with the bag. So I got the bag and I'm like, I don't even really want this bag. Why do I have it? And I was actually going to return the bag. And I was like, well, let me just see. I carried the bag and fell in love with it. And part of the reason I fell in love with the bag is that you can really adjust the size on it. And when I tell you, I stuffed so much stuff in this bag. And before I got the bag, I said to the lady, well, what is the weight limit? And she's like, well, I don't, she says, I mean, you wouldn't want to put like a kid or a dog in it, a heavy dog in it. She's like, but you can pretty much put a lot in the bag. And I was like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I was like, if this, and I was like, if this bag is going to break, it needs to break within the first like 30 days so I can return it and be like, you told me this and look what happened. Listen, guys, I have stuffed so much stuff in that bag that it's not even funny. And it works. So I had to get another one. I'm happy about that. But yeah, so like I said, if you're looking for a bag, go to Amazon, see what they have. Look up some fashion people because oftentimes they will show you dupes as well. But that's a good thing to do. Wait, what is she saying? Oh, she says she's never tried Spanx. I want to feel like a sausage. That is funny. So I have some dresses that's how I felt. I looked like a sausage in. And so I didn't wear them because I don't want to look. Who wants to look like a sausage? Not me. But I got this shaper mint. I'm gonna try it out, and I'll definitely report back to you guys. Another thing that I recently participated in was Sweet Sweet, and Sweet Sweet is basically where they show you the hottest toys for the season. Now, just a few days, I was going to say weeks, not even weeks, just a few days ago, it was Christmas in July. And so it was so fitting because, now I've seen some of what the hottest toys for the season is going to be. So I'm waiting for some more information and some further details. And once I get that, I'll make sure that I share with you guys. And we may even do it live, like a kind of unboxing type thing where you guys can see what are going to be the hottest toys for the year. My thing to them is always tell me what the teenagers are going to want because I don't have little kids. But I feel like some of you guys out there have little kids, and I should at least give you a heads up on what your kids are going to be looking for. The other thing I want to talk about are planners. So Erin Condren apparently has been canceled because of what was happening in her hometown. Yeah, once again, Black Lives Matter, people. But, it's unfortunate because she does have a really great planner. I am a bullet journal girl, and I have not updated it. I don't even want to talk about the last time I've updated it. And I realized that because I haven't updated it, things have been a mess, falling through the wayside. Like, we're not even going to talk about some of the things I'm supposed to show up but didn't show up to. That's a whole nother story. I'm getting my life together. But I want to encourage you that even though things are not going as planned, we totally should still kind of do your life the way you were doing it previously. Before the pandemic happened, if you got up every morning and went for a run, still go for a run. Maybe don't go into busy areas, but go into areas that aren't so busy. The other thing I want to remind you about is that even if you bought a calendar for 2020, you can still find use in it. And what I started doing, and one that I had that was already written up, is I wrote my meal plan ideas in there. I did, just things I wanted to remember. I also started making a note of like kind of creating on this day of. So if something happened on this day that I was like, oh my God, I wanted to remember it, I make sure that I wrote it down in those calendars on those days. So that's kind of how I am handling a calendar, I guess, for lack of a better word. Another thing that we should always remember that happened in July that was great is we are still alive, guys. We're still alive. We're still alive. Let's see. Okay. Oh, you've gotten lots of questions. She says, is there a new Elf on the Shelf pet? I don't even remember seeing anything about the Elf on the Shelf. I have to look back through the notes. I don't remember anything about the Elf on the Shelf. She says, any scoop on the new American Girl? So that's supposed to be dropping next week. I want to say that, all of the dollar's going to become available. All the things that go along with her are going to be coming available. People have been really happy about the direction that American Girl is going and, making sure that they're highlighting, all types of girls, no matter what. So that's been great. And another thing that some people have been talking to us about, and we've been participating in, are virtual camps. Told you guys that I could not have my children sleeping till like 2:00, although my son did sleep very late today, which won't happen again. And so we've been participating in some virtual activities. So Girl Scouts of Southeastern PA has a virtual camp at home, and it's been really cool. This week is a skills week where they are learning about fixing cars, first aid, and just kind of, then they do like some cooking activities and they sing camp songs and all of that. It's really cool. The only thing I'm really hesitant about is that in order for you to participate, the requirement is that you're on camera. And I'm actually going to reach out to them and have a discussion with them about this because not everybody wants to be on camera. What I do like, of course, are the activities, some of which you can do on your own. If you don't want to do it live with the people, you don't have to. They have all the details for you to do it on your own. And then there's someone you can reach out to ask questions on your own. So I think that's great. And then they're not always on the Zoom. It's, for blocks of time. But once again, not our kids want to be on camera. Like my daughter's kind of like, I want to listen, but I don't want to have to be in front of the camera. And so I think that that's something that they have to think about, and maybe they say, oh, just show your face and then it's okay if you go away. Like I shouldn't have to physically be there if I don't want to be there. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. But, I think they have to think about that. Let's see. She says, we use remote learning disaster and we're using it for live enrichment classes. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. And so I feel like, we have to really prepare ourselves because even though some of these districts are planning to open, which is so crazy to me right now, considering, companies are announcing that their employees won't return until January. And, so many things are announcing and rolling out. Why aren't the children our first priority? That always baffles me, and I don't really have an answer for that. We did talk about it on our education Tea Talk, where the educators, you could tell, were not ready to be thrown into school. And I am fearful that not only what's going to happen is that these kids are going to go to school, somebody's going to get sick, and then the cycle is just going to, it's going to be, it's going to be a cycle. It's not going to end. And some good teachers are going to leave. I mean, I think that that's what we've got to look at is that some of those teachers who I was talking about, who will think outside the box, who are the ones who want to teach to the kids, are going to leave. They're going to leave because at some point, your own health has to outweigh all of this. And I just don't think that we're looking at it that way. What I do hope is that the governors of these states that are really kind of like, wear your mask, stay at home if you can, wash your hands, social distance, and they are, finding people, shutting down businesses and all of that. What I hope is that they interject so that the opening of these schools is not in the hands of the school district, the school board, superintendents, principals, head of schools, things of that nature. I really need I really hope that the governors intervene and that it becomes a statewide decision, because everybody's saying that, once it starts to get cold, they're expecting that we're going to be back on the rise, because it's not like we're on a downhill. We're still rising because it's still spreading. But they're really believing that before the winter hits, it's going to be another big hit for us. And I just don't want to deal with that. Like, I feel like if we can get a good plan together for teaching our kids at home, why not do it? And what are they missing if maybe they don't have a complete education for 3 months? Maybe we work on life skills. Maybe we make sure our kids know how to write a check, know how to balance a budget, know how to really clean the kitchen, which when I get off here is going to happen in my house. So I just feel like together we all need to figure out a plan that's going to work for our kids, because what I don't want to see is all these schools open and then the reports just start showing of teachers who are dying, kids who are sick. You already saw that Kane died today. If you did not see that, he died today, apparently from COVID. And so it's just going to keep going. I mean, and so like when we're out at lacrosse, and I tell people this all the time because they know my anxiety is like on 3,000. We're out at lacrosse and I'm just looking at the people and kind of what they're doing and realizing how like careless people are being. And I get it. No, I don't get it. Let me not say that. I'm not gonna say I get it. So oftentimes you'll see people, they don't have on a mask and they're in a crowded area, but they don't have on a mask. So it's just, I don't know. It's a lot. And I just feel like we got to do better, and we can't expect a change if we don't become part of the change. I don't know, guys, but that's all I had. I really just wanted to check in with everybody because, like I said, this is the last Thursday of the month. I will be having a recap coming out about like my favorite things in the month of July, just some products that I found that have made a difference for me. And I hope you guys celebrated National Lipstick Day. You guys know I am all about this lip bar and really loving any clean beauty that I can find that actually works. A lip bar is just perfect. Like it lasts. You guys see I have it on now. It lasts a really good time. Fenty actually had a really good lipstick sale. I feel like a lot of the stores were doing lipstick sales. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of some things. National Cheesecake Day is today. So make sure you get a slice of cheesecake and then put on your shaper mint and no one will know you were eating cheesecake. But guys, have a great day and stay tuned. I'll have some details about some of the topics that we're going to be talking about in the month of August. And as always, if there's something that you'd like to talk about, drop me a line and let's see if we can make it happen. Have a great weekend, guys. See ya.